everyone, to another episode of the world's greatest news and reviews.
Giving you opinions about nerd stuff is our superpower.
I'm Captain Mao.
I'm Weapon 2, players. It's good to see you.
Great to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to give you our official review for The Boys Season 2. So, if you haven't already done so, check out our Boys Season 1 official review.
Yes.
Which was done way back. Actually, not that long ago, but if you watch the video, it's pretty shit. Like, we're just standing up, horrible lighting, recording off a cell phone. We're not professionals like we are now in our new lair, which is called...
The world's greatest hall of righteousness and doing the right thing.
That is the official title, kids. Yes, so we are in our new lair. Got a new setup, as you guys could tell. And we're going to be talking about The Boys Season 2. And we're going to give overall thoughts and impressions real quick, and then we'll jump into spoilers. So, non-spoilers, what did you think of The Boys Season 2?
It was awesome. Picked up right where it left off. Doing crazy stuff with self-involved, opportunistic, money-making, business-type superheroes who don't necessarily even care whether they're solving the world's problems or protecting people, just pretending like they're doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. That's what it's about. Introduces some new characters that we'll get into, and it was just crazy and cool and awesome.
Yeah, it really shows like the celebrity and the corporation control that would be the superheroes if they were real. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I always refer to it as the best deconstruction of the superhero genre this side of Watchmen. I think that holds true in season 2 because I think season 2 was fantastic. I feel like you can make an argument that some parts of season 1 were probably a lot stronger than season 2 as a whole, but I think season 2 was very, very good. I think, like you said, it picked up right where it left off. Some new characters were introduced that were really cool, really interesting, and the characters that were already established from season 1 were really fleshed out, and you really give a shit about everyone. You give a shit about every character that's in this. Certain people in the show are fantastic. Looking at you, Carl Urban. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Literally, the show increases dramatically in how good it is every time he's on camera. The story and all that we'll get into in the spoilers, but I thought this was a very good season 2.
Who's the actor that plays Homelander?
We will look that up and let you know.
That
guy he makes you believe he's a psychopath. He's insanely good. But the show's good, the action's good, special effects are good, everything about it. I actually think that season 2 ended a lot stronger than season 1 did. I think the finale was a lot better. But as a whole, I think it's fantastic. This is one of my favorite shows that's airing right now. I think this and The Last Kingdom are probably very neck and neck for what my favorite show is right now. Very
it's Anthony
good.
Starr.
That guy's insane.
Yeah.
He's so, oh my God, he's so good. So I literally can't say enough good things about the show. The problem is, in order to talk about the things I like, we really got to get into spoilers. So I'm pretty much done with my non-spoiler section. Watch the show. I'm assuming if you've watched this, you've watched season 2 and all that. I'm assuming you've watched season 1. If you haven't, go check it out. If you like superheroes and you want like an ultra realistic take on how corrupt and fucked up real superheroes would be, more than likely, watch this show.
Yes, a friend of the show, Mischief Managed.
She
just watched this.
What?
And she never saw any of The Boys. She never saw season 1, and she just binged it all.
What did she think? Oh, I guess
she thought it was great.
Yeah.
But so it's always amazing to me. You see something that you kind of think is out there that everybody's kind of watching, or at least they know about. It's always still amazing to me when somebody's like, I've never even heard of that. You haven't?
Yeah, because you're like, maybe I've heard of it, I just haven't tried it yet,
Right.
or I don't think it's my thing, but yeah.
I mean, you still run into people who go, Star Wars? What's Star Wars? I'm like,
I've never
Really?
seen a single episode of Game of Thrones. Also, fuck you. But yeah,
anyways.
check out season 2.
And I think it's kind of cool when somebody's kind of experiencing something that you already know is really good, and they're saying, "Yeah, I'm doing this." You're like, "Oh, you."
Well,
you
it's
must
great
be
because
it.
you get to this weird secondhand experience for the first time through their eyes. It's
Right.
also super cool if you get to like watch it with them and then
Right.
watch their reactions and stuff. But that's cool. I didn't know that she was just watching. I'm gonna actually be really curious as to what her thoughts are, but because there's some spoilers, fucked up shit that happens.
Yeah.
So, all right, do you want to get into spoilers? Talk about season 2 a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, spoiler alerts. Season 2. Holy shit. Stormfront's a Nazi. That was some shit. So
Yes, we find out that Vought's based from the Nazis. The Nazis started the whole thing.
by the way, Gus Fring is in this
Yes.
from Breaking Bad. So that guy, talking about great actors, he just commands every scene that he's in.
Yeah.
I like when Homelander goes in there and tries to like nut up on him and he just like checks him verbally.
That dude's in a lot of good stuff.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Dude, he's But anyway, you were saying, so Vought.
So Vought's in there. They started by a bunch of Nazis. They were. You're gonna have to tell me whether I'm wrong about this.
I have no problem doing that.
Is Stormfront Homelander's mom? It seemed like maybe
I mean, I hope not. 'Cause
Stormfront was Homelander's mom.
they be fucking. So I hope not.
That's another level of what the fuck in this. But
No, I don't.
well,
I don't think so.
the Vought
I
dude or
didn't get
whoever
that.
was his dad,
Yeah.
and she was with him. I don't know.
That's an interesting theory. If it
I
is,
don't know.
if so, then that's something I completely didn't pick up on.
Because I'm not sure. Because maybe I think that maybe in the comic books, Homelander's mother got killed when he was born. I don't know.
Yeah, his story's a little bit different on the show.
Yeah.
Well,
They do a lot of different stuff in the show. That's cool.
And I like that. So yeah, so you and I both read the comic, and it's been a while since I read the comic, so I don't remember all of it. But I know that they diverged quite a bit, especially in season 2.
Yeah.
But I like what they've done. And I think
so do I.
What they've done has fit the narrative and kind of how the show is going. I do love the fact. So Stormfront is introduced into the 7, much to the umbrage of Homelander.
Yeah.
And I like that now they have 3 female members on the 7. And I like they're just going balls out with this media promoting girls get it done and this and that.
Yeah.
And it's so over the top. It's so ridiculous. It's so pandering to like the audience. And it's like, and I love how they all hate, like they hate it. Like freaking Maeve just couldn't be bothered. Stormfront knows it's all bullshit. Starlight is just like checked out also. And like, I love how like they shove that down your throat and like this shows the scenes of them doing interview after interview after interview. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
It shows how tedious that would all be and how it's all nonsense and how it's all corporation. But then how this show is actually quite clever and quite meta. At the end, they all start beating the shit out of Stormfront.
Yeah.
Like all the women just beat the shit out of her because
Yeah.
they have the other chick from The Boys. So I thought that was really cool.
The girl.
The girl, I can't remember her name.
They don't have.
They
She
don't
doesn't have a name. That's her
why
name.
I can't
The
remember.
girl. That's what they call her.
And so the first episode, freaking Butcher's not there for most of it.
Right.
He shows up at the very end, the very last scene, and the episode's good and it's moving and you're into it. And like I really love the relationship between Starlight and what's his name, Huey.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I like it. I like what they did with it. Mother's Milk's cool. I like all the characters.
I think that Starlight's character got way more interesting and just kind of relatable.
Yep.
And you're like rooting for her, and she's like the normalist person in the 7 who's like trying to do the right thing, and she's not buying into all their craziness, and she's actually against them. She's like a double agent, a secret agent against them, giving the boys some information and stuff like that because she knows they're wrong.
Well, and she was done really well in the first season in that she actually she cared. She wanted to be a superhero.
Right.
She wanted to be like do good and fight evil and all that kind of nonsense. And it's such a hard wake up call when she gets into the 7. And so her character progression is continued in this season. And you're right, she's super relatable. And we're experiencing a lot through her eyes.
Yeah, because for me, the part of the character, I mean, I can like characters for all different types of reasons, but the part of the reason I liked her even more going into the second season was because you're like rooting for her. You're like, gee, she's like a normal person. She's just trying. She's in this situation. She's trying to do the right thing. She's putting herself at jeopardy to trying to do the right thing. And then like anybody else in a real situation in most movies, everything seems so cut and dry. This is the right thing. This is the wrong thing. And it's so simple and spelled out for you. But in real life, like this thing, you're just trying to figure it out. Like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen if I do this? And is this the right thing? And should I be doing this? I like those type of aspects.
She's like, and I'm afraid that I'm going to turn a corner and Homelander is going to be there to fucking murder me. And just, it's like you feel the tension and you really feel for a character. And back to Butcher, he shows up at the end of that first episode. Immediately the show got 50% better. And he just gives the line, "Don't worry, boys, daddy's home." And fucking Carl Urban is just so good in this show. And if I remember correctly, the character of Butcher, way more of a dick than in the comics. Like, he was a dick in the comics, but I feel like they have upped the dial to 11. Like, he's worse than the show.
Yeah.
And you get a little bit of backstory with him. You see his dad and all that and why he's such an asshole. And I really love, so we see the continuation of the storyline with his wife and with her kid, who is Homelander's son, and that whole thing that happens, which is really interesting to watch. And I love at the end when he has the meeting with Gus Fring. I know that's not the character's name. And he sets up the basically to double cross her.
The CEO bot.
Yeah. To sell out, to get the wife and be gone, but give them the kid. And as he's making the deal, you're like, dude, that is some dirty shit. Like,
right.
Within character for you, but it's just like, it's at this moment you're like, you're not a good person. And it's like, you kind of can't be to fight these people. I get it. But then at the end, he doesn't do it. He comes clean, like at the very, like fucking at the fucking 11th hour, Doug comes clean.
Right.
And the former wife, actually has a moment where he's just like, I'm a shit person and I was gonna sell you out, and she's like, but you didn't. And I love that, because part of Starlight's struggle that she's dealing with is she wants to be a good person, but she's realizing more and more you have to exist in this gray area. And I love the scene when they're in the car where she's like, don't do that, don't look at me like that. And Butcher's like, what? She's like, with that approving look, like I'm doing something that you're proud of. Like, she's like, no, I don't want to fucking be like you. Right? But then in this moment, when he does the right thing, she even references it later. She's like, if Butcher can do the right thing, like, there's hope. You know what I mean? So everything ties in so good together. But what were other highlights for you?
So, I mean, one of the biggest thing that happens in this series is when the Superboy sees his mom being killed by Stormfront, and he becomes angry. Before you could see he couldn't focus his powers to do his eye blast. He eye blasts, and not only does he completely fry the bejesus out of Stormfront, blast her into nothing, he kills his mom.
That's sad.
Not on purpose, but she was collateral damage. And then her dying words to Butcher are basically something like, protect him and don't tell him it's not his fault, stuff like that. And you can see as soon as she dies, you can see he's about ready to write that kid off.
I thought he was going to kill the kid.
Yeah.
He has the look. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he was grabbing something. Like, great acting by Carl Urban.
Right. And so then he comes to his senses and decides he needs to do the right thing. But yeah, that was a big scene and part of it. I mean, like you said, the girls kicking the crap out of Stormfront.
And I loved how, again, it's a commentary on society, right, in a lot of ways, in terms of our culture and all that. And I really the message that they were sending, the propaganda and all that about the Subs versus the terrorists and all this kind of stuff. Like, they had a big thing going. But then it gets outed.
That mirrors just like politics and just people who just are putting out what they want the public to hear and believe all the time. And of course, that's what they're all about. They're all about persona, branding. This is what's happening. And so we have to, we want this. So we've got to say this is happening and get you to buy into this so we can become part of the military and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and the scene that really struck me is, like, at first you quite don't know how to take Stormfront until the scene where they're chasing the super terrorist who's the girl's brother, and as she's going up the building, she's just murdering bystanders like on purpose,
Right.
just not, and it's to create collateral damage so
Right.
that way they could sell the point that the terrorists are evil and to get it. Like it's all further, and she doesn't give a shit about human life.
Yeah.
And
Well, same thing with Highlander or Homelander and the plane.
Yeah. Same.
before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
But
And then we're gonna spin this.
Yeah.
Spin this into something to
we were
benefit us.
here, if we were in the military, what happened? We were in the chain of command. But the moment that hit kind of a little too close to home for me was when she gets outed as being like a Nazi and being part of all that, and then she's like confronting the boys about it, and she's just like, people agree with what I'm saying, they just don't like the word Nazi, and I was just like, ugh, fuck, that's a little too relevant right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show definitely makes you think about stuff. Again, I don't think quite to the degree Watchmen does, but it's definitely in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Definitely makes you look at society and how fucked it is. And it's not only that, but it's funny. It's fucking hilarious. There's some outrageous moments. Like every other episode, there will be a moment that had my jaw on the floor, make me laughing hysterically, care about the characters. It's good stuff all the way around.
Well, I think that it makes a story better when it can hold a mirror up to society and make you think about how much of that stuff goes on and is real in our world today.
Yeah.
Because if it's all just kind of a fake, candy-coated, Elseworlds type story where we're like, oh, that's none of that's relatable. That just seems too cut and dry. When they do this, it makes you think about, holy cow, that stuff happens all the time.
I think the reason this seems like it hits close to home and why this seems like how it would be. Like if they're superpowered people, this to me seems exactly the way they would be super crazy celebrities, and they'd be controlled by this organization, and they wouldn't give a shit about human life.
Right.
Like I feel like this is exactly what would happen. By the way, the Deep, hilarious. Oh my god, so funny. When he gets high and his gills are talking to him, that was so fucking funny. And then he just gets shafted at the end. It was so bad.
The whole bringing in the what's the name of the church, or the center, or the, what is it called? Something with a C.
I don't remember, but fuck Fresca.
Collective.
Yeah.
The Collective.
Frescas.
That's crazy.
By the way,
obsession with Fresca.
So the cliffhanger in the court when they're having the trial, everybody's head explodes.
Yeah.
We see who was the one doing it. Not at all who I thought it was going to be. Like, well played, nice twist. I'm intrigued for season 3.
Yes. So that is, I can't remember her name. A couple of the characters in the TV series are replaced. They were males in the comic book, and there. So Stormfront was a male. They replaced it, which I think
works better as a woman.
Better,
yeah.
And then, so of course the one we're talking about who explodes people's heads becomes the vice president or some type of thing in the comic book, I think. And so that's the person in there. So that's. And works for Vought, so basically it's Vought employee.
Yeah.
And so that's
for this story. Where I also really liked the Lamplighter reveal, because in the comics, totally different story happens with him. Way fucking different.
Right.
And I like the reveal when they see who Lamplighter is. I can't remember the actor's name, but he played Iceman and X-Men. Like he did great in the role. He was fantastic, and I loved the conflict between him and Frenchie. And I loved the scene too where he's like, he's like yelling at him for murdering the woman's kids, and he's like, why didn't you stop me? And like there's this flash of humanity in him where you could see he's like, no, why the fuck didn't you stop me? Right. And then the everything that happens with that, when you find out his guilt and for what he did and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, he's a horrible person. He's not burned children alive horrible. You know what I mean? Like so the point is, characters are very layered in this show. Characters that you don't think need to be, because he was only in the show for this season, like 3 episodes?
Yeah.
He didn't need to be deep. He just could have been somebody that, was kind of a dick that you wanted to see the boys overtake and use. But no, he had layers, and all of a sudden you see all that, and then you care about the character, and then he lights himself on fire. So whatever. But
which was crazy for him to choose that way to go out. And what a statement too.
Yeah.
He made a big statement. I mean, that was one of those. That was one of I mean, that happens in the real world when somebody feels so strongly about an issue, they go and just set themselves on fire. And that was crazy. And he was like, I'm doing this right in 7 headquarters, right at the conference room or whatever.
So we're praising this a lot. It's not perfect. Trying to think of like legitimate criticisms. There are several times throughout the show where the boys are kind of just sneaking in and out of what are supposed to be like super secure facilities a little too easily. Both the mental institution and Vought Tower. And there's lots of times where they're being pursued, sometimes by every member of the 7, and they just somehow get away. So there's lots of kind of hero shielding bullshit that does happen. Now, I will say none of that actually takes away from the experience of the show, at least to me. This is just like literally trying to think about like criticisms to say of the show, because you can't just praise it the entire time. I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of a thing that happened and it was a little annoying, but it's really kind of a nitpick. Like it is storytelling shielding, but doesn't ruin the show at all.
Every single movie you can see, you can find things that aren't perfect about it, but as far as just the type of show and the things that happen in it and the storytelling is really cool for the boys. It's a good show. It's one of the
better shows on.
Best shows on
if
TV
it's
right
not
now.
my favorite, it's 1A right now for me. I can't wait for Homelander to snap. They are totally building to that. They are
the last scene. When you said, "Hey, we're going to do this for you," and I said, "I can do whatever I want," that's what he's doing.
By the way, so that I don't know if you know, but that scene was supposed to be in season 1, and it was actually shot for season 1.
Oh, really?
And that was the one scene that Amazon was just like, "Nope, that's too much," which is fucking hilarious because it's like if you watch,
what we're going to do? We're going to put it in season 2.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's just like there's so much worse shit that happens in season 1.
Right.
Like that's your line. And then now they're just like,
people's
fuck it, put it in
heads
there.
exploding and them just being turned into pink mist and just slaughtered.
But that was too
and then you don't want to show a picture of Homelander masturbating, say he can do whatever he wants.
By the way, what Homelander does with doppelganger is way creepier. Oh my god. Anyway.
Oh my god, yes.
So creepy. Oh, everything about that was wrong.
That talk about something that is probably the kind of the cringiest type part of this was like, that was uncomfortable.
Well, when he turns into the other Homelander, and it's just like, that is literally narcissism personified. And I was just like, I'm sorry. You know that's not the first time. That is not the first time.
Don't you want to fuck yourself? I was like, what?
Good shit. Good. It's so meta. Good shit. Great show. Watch the show. Can't recommend it enough. If you're in the spoiler section, or assume you've watched it, let us know in the comments what some of your favorite moments were. Why is this show awesome? That's pretty much all I got to say. Weapon 2, you got anything else?
Yeah, and hey, join with everybody and guess about what you think is going to happen in season 3. I mean,
give us your predictions.
Whether you've read it, the comic book or not, I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point because they're storytelling on their own right now. So, I like to hear other people's ideas about what they think is going to happen. Mm-hmm. Right? Agreed. So check out The Boys Season 2. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thank you for joining us on this episode of the World's Greatest News and Reviews. If you've enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.
That's right. Ding. Peace.